was getting emails from him. So thanks a lot, Terry, for doing that. So our guest today, Robert Hayes. He has been the president and CEO of the Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corporation since 2024. He represents CSAC's ownership group in overseeing all business operations of 5 sports teams, including the Flames and the Stampeders, music, comedy, entertainment, and related community supporting foundations. Mr. Hayes has a 30-year career in the financial sector, working throughout Canada and the U.S. with the last 20 years in Calgary. He has held numerous senior executive positions, primarily leading client-facing teams focused on such areas as mergers and acquisitions, corporate finance, sports and entertainment, private banking, risk management, and international. Robert is a native of Halifax. Not sure who Brian is. So Mr. Hayes holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree from the Dalhousie University, FCMA, FCPA, and ICD.D, and I'm sure he'll tell me what those things are later. He has completed the executive leadership and strategic management programs at Northwestern University, the University of Western Ontario, and the University of Toronto. In 2013, Mr. Hayes was recognized as one of Alberta's 50 most influential people. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robert Hayes.
Thank you for the introduction. Had I known my assistant sent that along, I would have interrupted and sent the abridged version. So sorry that you had to sit through all that. It's not usually my style. I feel a little added pressure because you are all incredibly kind. I was supposed to be here a month ago, and I do want to start with an apology that I wasn't able to make it a month ago, and I had to cancel last minute, which is not something I enjoy doing. We were working on a business transaction, and it had been over a year we were working on it, and we got a call from the individuals who we were negotiating with that they chose whatever it was, the equivalent Tuesday of last month, that they were coming to Calgary. They wanted to meet with us. They insisted, and this was the time to meet. And so I had to sacrifice a couple of things, and this was one of them. So I appreciate your kindness in inviting me back. I do feel added pressure because I have Sylvia here beside me. And Sylvia, for those who don't know, we're going to age ourselves, Sylvia. It's almost 20 years that we've known each other now, so it's been a long time. A wonderful person who did incredible work with Woods Homes, which is near and dear to my heart, and an amazing organization down in Calgary that helps mental and youth who have some mental health problems primarily. A few things before I start. Number one, I was at Rotary last Tuesday in downtown Calgary, and your O Canada, you're recording this, aren't you? I'm going to get myself in trouble. Your O Canada blows them away. Like, that's the best O Canada I've ever had. I'm a big patriot for our country, so that was awesome. And they had to put the 4 things up on the board so everybody would remember, so you're well ahead of them in that regard. But so, Bill, if you send any of this to them, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble because there's a lot of friends that I have there as well. We're going to do a test here. Bob assured me this would work, so bear with me. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this going back and forth. This could be. Anybody want to volunteer to work the slideshow?
I'll give you a clicker.
Oh, even better. Thank you. We can't start Calgary Sports and Entertainment without my marketing team having a little fun. So the first thing you're going to see is a little video to get the juices flowing. And then I told Terry that I was happy to share a little about the organization, talk a bit about the new stadium that we're building down there, talk about some of the teams. The Stampeders have some interesting things that are coming up, and a few other miscellaneous along the way. Bill told me he was at the Guess Who concert, and he said there's a pretty special picture up there that you're going to see of activation mode when it comes to concerts, and we're going to be out of this world with what we can do from a concert perspective moving forward.
It's not in here, so I'm now volunteering to play.
All right, well, do one click, and I think the music is on. Just one click is all you have to do, and the video should go in theory. There you go. Except we don't
I can hear it. I can hear something.
Well, pretend there's amazing music that you're getting hyped up over here. That's okay. That's the only video we have. That's the worst thing that happens today. We're all right. So that's the video we used to show before all of the Flames games that happened each year, and it ends with the Calgary Tower exploding at the top. So you want to do one more click? Oh. There we go. So what do we do at CSEC? And you can go one further beyond that.
Moved here.
There we go. Calgary Sports and Entertainment. So what do? We are an organization that I like to say we're stewards for all of Southern Alberta for a whole bunch of sports teams, and then for the live entertainment that we do as well, and the community work. So you see some of the sports teams here. Of course, we have the Calgary Flames. We have two other hockey teams, and the Calgary Wranglers and the Calgary Hitmen, the AHL team and the junior team. We have the Roughnecks. Anybody who has never been to a Calgary Roughnecks game, you should go. I'm not a lacrosse person. That was my brother growing up. And I went to my first Roughnecks game and was just blown away with the whole atmosphere that they had down there. I see some nodding heads. It's a different crowd. It's a lot of fun, that's for sure. And then the Stampeders, obviously the teams that we wish were continuing to play now, the hockey teams, and the Roughnecks season ended a short time ago for lacrosse, are not playing now, unfortunately, so we have a little work to do in that regard. I'm happy to answer any questions about those teams. For that matter, happy to answer any questions as I ramble on here if you have them. But from a team perspective, we think we're in decent position moving forward. We've got a lot of draft picks, a lot of young players for the Calgary Flames team. We think we're in good shape there. The Calgary Hitmen was the youngest team in the Western Canadian Hockey League last year, the WHL, and most of those players are coming back. We'll lose a couple down to the United States at college, but most of them are coming back, so we think we're going to have a great team next year. The lacrosse team is the same thing, was the youngest team in the National Lacrosse League last year. They've got another year under their belt, and we're going to stop using that excuse of being young, and we now have to perform. So I think we're in good shape from that perspective. And the AHL team is a tough one. I really feel for American Hockey League coaches because it's a team that's supposed to transition players up to the NHL, and that's the reality. They've done an amazing job of doing that, but they sacrificed from the team performance perspective, so they had a bit of a bumpy year last year after making the playoffs the previous 4 or 5 years. And the Stamps I'll get to shortly to talk about them a little bit. I think, Bill, you said you were at the Stamps game as well on Friday night. Yeah, that was an ugly one. The other team didn't win. We lost that game, I would say. And in pro sports, as Dave Dickinson, the coach, said, it's bleeping hard to win in pro sports, and you saw that on Friday night for anybody who was at the game. The other thing we do is live entertainment, and we have a live entertainment group that has worked incredibly hard to do 4 or 5 events. I think we did 33 last year, events of some sort. Most of them concerts, but we have a cool motocross that's coming up from a motorcycle perspective soon. I believe this has been released publicly. We've got, for any wrestling fans, we've got WWE that's coming to town in August. So we're trying to do more and more, and the game there is to try to show the Live Nation and other performance companies that have the acts that come through that we're ready when we get into the new building, because there's a knock on our existing building as to what we can do from an entertainment perspective, but the new building will be second to none from that point of view. So that's what we do. If you want to click to the next one, please and thank you, at CSEC. You have lots of time to take a bite of food in between slides here. No, that's okay. So that's all you missed. You can go to the next one. So we also do these things at CSEC. So there's the obvious, but then there are all the miscellaneous things that happen behind the scenes from a business and otherwise perspective. And this gives you an idea that we have roughly 360 to 370 employees on the non-sports side. So not all the teams and what have you. And these are the types of things that they tend to day in and day out. So people often ask me, I was introduced very kindly and was talked about from a background perspective. I spent 30 plus years in the financial services industry, and people say, how do you switch from financial services over to sports entertainment? That seems to be an odd thing. What I tell them is, despite my efforts with Craig Conroy and Dave Dickinson to go out and play, they won't let me shoot to score goals, they won't let me catch touchdown passes. This is what we focus on, is the business side. And in banking, I have the tremendous opportunity for a lot of years to really see so many different businesses, interact with so many different people, and learn from them. And now I think I have the best job in the world until the ownership group tries to get rid of me somehow, because I get to deploy all that knowledge that I learned from all these amazing business people over the years in trying to run the business. So that's what we do every day. There's a couple of unique ones sort of down the third row up from the right on the bottom there. Keeping Koopa Carry happy, and then snow removal. So keeping Koopa Carry happy, we have an expense program, and it's run through a Koopa program for anybody who works in a business that has expenses. And Carrie is the person that you do not want to tick off within Calgary Sports Entertainment, because if your expenses aren't done by the end of the month, or if you're over by $1, or you build something you should with a credit card, she's happy. So the team got quite a charge when they put that up, and Koopa Carey came up to me and said very quickly, you get no reprieve, I'm still gonna be after you if you do anything wrong with your expenses. And the snow removal is something that we should not have to deal with the new building, but at the Saddle Dome, we can have 90,000 pounds of rigging on the ceiling. So if we have a concert in the middle of the winter and we get a snow dump the day before, we have engineers that go up and they measure how much snow came down, and they tell us that this is what the people can put up from a performance perspective for the rigging. Or you can go up with your shovels and you can start shoveling snow off the roof, or you can put some of the glycols up there and try to melt it off, which we do on a regular basis. So that's the reality that we have. It's an iconic looking building. It is not very practical to run operations out of when it looks like a saddle at the end of the day. Next one, please. There we go. Okay, so our farewell season is this year, and there's, I suspect most people in this room have been out of the Saddle Dome. It's a pretty iconic building, as I said. So the team came up with what I think is a fantastic logo, and it's got a lot of little nuances that represent the Saddle Dome in here. Obviously, it looks like a saddle at the top, the little chevrons on the side that you see there, the little flame by the dome, and we had the logo done. Does anybody here work for Scotiabank right now? Okay, so I'm safe. So you see Scotiabank in the middle of the logo. When we first did it, we just had it all white, and we pitched it to Scotiabank and got all excited and said, don't you love the logo? And they said, yeah, there's just one problem. We pay a lot of money to have our name recognized and associated with the building. So we pretended we came up with a very unique solution, but we figured this was gonna be something we had to play. So that's why you see the Scotiabank logo on there as well. So it was something we thought, but we're really excited about it. All the team's uniforms that I just mentioned that play in the Dome are gonna have patches on it like that to celebrate it. And we're gonna have some very special jerseys. We had them commissioned by the NHL for the Calgary Flames, and they sent us one jersey that we're able to show our ownership group, and we had to sign affidavits to state that we didn't take any pictures, and we sent the jersey back to them. So the jerseys will be released as the season gets close, but I think they're gonna be pretty cool jerseys that a lot of people are gonna wanna collect for the final season at the Dome. And I can't remember, it was Terry that asked me about paraphernalia, if you will, within the Saddle Dome. So we are not gonna own the Saddle Dome when it's done. We pass it back to the city, and the city decommissions it, but we're hoping that the city will allow us to have people come in and work with us if they want a seat, if they want something from the Saddle Dome, because there's a lot of neat little treasures in the place. And we're going to do what we should do as far as taking things from the Saddle Dome into the new building as well. Okay, I know I'm set tight on time, so I should probably keep going here a little quicker. Sorry, give me a microphone so he knows I'm gonna talk for a while. This is Scotia Place, amazing shot from Scotsman Hill. You can go to the next one, because we're gonna have some other ones on Scotia Place. I'll talk about that a little bit. From I think this is the one that's coming up. From a hockey perspective, this is hockey activation. The stadium is made so the pitch is gonna be a lot higher. For anybody who's been to Detroit or Montreal, we went to see a bunch of stadiums, and we tried to take the best of all the stadiums, and from a game activation pitch perspective, we took it from those stadiums. And the plan is we want to make it very, very difficult for the opposition team to play. And we want it to be loud, we want it to be obnoxious almost from a Calgary Flames perspective. So if you look above the clock, you can see a bit of a black square just by the end of that red. So if you go to the next picture, please, you don't see a clock. So that little square is a garage for the clock. So when you're in concert mode, Bill, so when you go to the Guess Who next time they come here, this is what it will look like. So I talked about 90,000 pounds is what you're able to get from a rigging capacity on the Saddle Dome, which is relatively small for what arena concerts do. We're going up to 200 and, oh shoot, I wrote that in my notes, I should check. No, 400,000 pounds, sorry, 400,000 pounds, which would be the most of any arena in North America. So there will not be an arena concert event that we can't do. And that's where Live Nation is getting excited, because they know that now Edmonton can do things, Calgary can do things. We're going to bring a lot more through Alberta, and they know that people like to go to people like Bill like to go see the Guess Who and go to concerts. So we're really going to focus on that going forward and bringing different things for all of Southern Alberta. If you want to go to the next one, please. This is a look at Scotia Place. I like to say this is activation mode, so this is Stampede Trail, 14th Ave. Game 5 Stanley Cup final. We're up 3-1. The cup's in the building, so the city has let us shut down the streets and have a big party outside. So that's the dream. And if you look above Welcome to Scotia Place, that is a 3-tier restaurant. That's an outdoor deck. So we have about 22,000 square feet there of an outdoor deck. I can't remember the seating capacity, but we have an ownership group that we approached and said, this is Calgary. We'd like you to spend a little extra money. It was an insubstantial amount of money to put some heaters in there. So that would be a heated outdoor deck that we should be able to use even in those cool evenings in, kind of February through October. And I was up to see it just from a cementing perspective. When they take the Saddle Dome down, because it is past its given life, we're going to take it down. It's going to be an unbelievable place to view the whole Stampede grounds and to watch the fireworks and that sort of thing. So I keep telling people, book your seats now for Stampede in 2029 and 30. Next one, please. Couple indoor shots that I have. We just released these to the public. So where the people are up top, there's going to be a dedicated suite level. As you know now in the Saddle Dome, you can kind of go anywhere. We'll have a suite level now. It'll overlook the concourse. That is the main entranceway of the concourse. I hope what you'll notice is when there's a whole bunch of people walking through, you're not walking like this anymore. We had the NHL commissioner walk through, and he talked to our season ticket holders. He said, it's unbelievable. You could literally walk down like that, and you're going to have lots and lots of room. So we've built it with that fan experience in mind, and the facility has 2 concourses. So unlike the Saddle Dome, you'll have a main concourse, and then you'll have an upper level also. So if you go one more click, this is a slightly different view of that same place, but it shows big screens, so you're not going to have TVs all over the place. You'll have some big screens, and you will notice in the right side escalators going up. So we actually have escalators that we're putting in the building, and we have 8 elevators in the 4 corners of the building as well. So transporting people from all means shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. Next one, please. You're ahead of me now. This was very important from our perspective. So if you don't know, there are actually 2 arenas there. So the city came to our ownership group and said, we need to have a big community aspect in our ownership group. Everybody knows, very philanthropic. Said, love that idea. ESSO stepped up from a sponsor perspective. So it's the ESSO Community Arena. There'll be about 1,000 seats. So my dream in that arena is that we have city championships there, hockey championships, volleyball championships, basketball championships, provincial championships, those sorts of things where, mom, dad, grandparents, cousins, aunts, I'm showing where I'm from in Nova Scotia, aunts and uncles, as the rest of Canada says, coming to those sorts of events. So that's what we're trying to do from a programming perspective for that one. And this is just the team store. It's going to be 5,000 square feet. If, again, you've been to the Saddle Dome looking to buy stuff, you can see the different closets we have, because that's essentially what we do have around the building. So I think the team store is going to be a spectacular place where a lot of people are going to come and mingle and be able to buy those jerseys of the Flames. So this is a almost live picture. This is last, I don't know what the 5th was, last Monday or Tuesday, something like that. So I said to somebody, it's coming fast, and they said, it doesn't seem like it's fast. It took us a year to dig a hole. We went down 40 feet, and they put 1,200 pilings down, 90 feet deep, steel I-beams cemented in to support this building. So I don't think it's going anywhere fast. We were really happy when the rain happened a couple of weeks ago. No flooding issues whatsoever. The weeping tile and the whole system they put in worked perfectly well. Because the number one question when we dug the hole I used to get was, there's 2 rivers right beside you. I don't understand how this works when you go 40 feet down. But the engineers assure me it will. Next one, please. We are in the midst of trying to fill the building, sell tickets. So we opened an experience center. If you go to the next one, this is where McLeod Trail and 11th, 12th, the Keynote building where Sunterra is on McLeod there. We took their second level of a restaurant and we built a little place where we can have people come in if they want to buy season tickets. And if you go, I think the next one gives a little idea. That's the side of the building, what it's going to look like with the design on it. And the next one is the coolest thing that we have. It is a model. So we had a model built of Scotia Place. So you can actually go and inside it's seat for seat. It has 18,400 seats in there that you can actually look and pick out exactly where you want to be. And obviously it shows where you are. That would be so this is the 12th Avenue side, so the food hall side, and then looking down Stampede Trail on the right. Now, one story on this one, I showed this slide to somebody and they thought it was really cool, and they came up and said, "Is this the first hockey arena that was ever built without a roof? That's pretty spectacular." I had to explain to her that there will be a roof on the building. This is just for demonstration purposes. So you can go to the next one, please. So I want to talk about the Stampedes a little bit. This is the year of the horse. It's actually the year of the fire horse. So we think there's something there from a Flames blasting perspective as well. Big year together. We've got, if you want to go to the next one, the Stampede Bowl that is coming up, and that is on July 2nd, and we have Toronto in town. So we started this game last year. I asked the question, why don't we play during Stampede? And everybody said, what's a Stampede? They won't let you do it. And so I went and approached Joel Cowley, who's my counterpart at the Stampede, wonderful individual, and he said, we'd love to help you out and do a Stampede Bowl event, so let's do it in collaboration. So we've started this new event, and instead of the team being out of town for 2 weeks, they can go to the game and have a little fun themselves. So we thought it was a win-win from a culture perspective internally, but also bringing the fans something that clearly they wanted last year, and hopefully they want this year. We have the Grey Cup coming up. That is going to be on November 11th to 15th. Huge festivals that are going to happen in town. We're very excited about that. Big music theme to it, and that was one thing that they were very excited about from a CFL perspective. So we're looking forward to that. One more. World Cup of Hockey. You may have heard of this little event, and given the 4 nations and now the Olympics outcome, this turned out even better for us when they advised us that we were the successful ones to get it. We got it with Edmonton. And everybody says to me, well, I don't understand, you don't have the finals and that sort of thing. And I'm saying, okay, I appreciate that the final, the gold medal game would be really cool, but we have 7 games. We're going to see Team Canada at least twice, Team USA twice, and one of them we'll see 3 times. So I think we're going to see some pretty good hockey down in Calgary to open up and show our building from an international perspective. It should be a lot of fun. And I think that might be it. Yeah. So there's a whirlwind tour. I think I had 20 minutes. I hope I didn't overstay my welcome. So thank you very much.
Any questions?
Are you going to get into baseball? Why
Uh,
not? Hurry it up.
That's the first time I've ever been asked the question. I grew up playing baseball. I love baseball.
Well, I mean,
Nobody has been approached from my team's perspective. I haven't been approached from that point of view. I know
Why
it
would
took
you
is an amazing
approach-
facility. So what's that?
Why wouldn't you approach Major League Baseball?
Oh, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, we're a big enough city. I mean, we're bigger than places like Denver and Cleveland and.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I probably need $2 billion to build a stadium first.
No,
So
but you.
we have to look into that.
You really haven't thought of that? No one's thought of that?
Not baseball, no.
Any other questions, Martin?
Yeah, Robin, the Wild Women's Soccer team play at Stampede Park, correct?
Correct, at McMahon, yes.
So are they part of your package?
No, we helped introduce them. It's privately owned by a number of investors, great group of people, and well, I think we helped them a lot. They didn't know what they didn't know when they jumped into the stadium. We, for all intent and purposes, operate the stadium, and I think they were very pleased with the help that we gave them. They had a tough start. They had just a miserable weekend when they opened up, and I'm sure the crowd was a little disappointing for them, but that's what happens when you start in June. The same sort of thing for the Stampeders last week, but wish them nothing but success. That and the PWHL, Professional Women's League, we had a single game last year. I mean, women's sports, I have 2 daughters, is taking off like crazy these days, so hopefully they'll continue to be very successful.
Keith?
Are there plans to replace McMahon Stadium?
I can't remember, it was Bill or Terry asked me that. So the Calgary Stampede released their 20-year vision for the future and their master plan. And one of the things they have in it is if you picture the grandstand in the infield where the rodeo takes place, taking down those infield stands and putting a second set of grandstands up and having actually a retractable football field that goes and folds under that second infield grandstand that they would build. So that's what they have pitched. I've said that from my perspective, I only play 10 games a year there, and we obviously practice at McMahon Stadium, so we won't fund a stadium ourselves. It would have to be a city type of thing, but I've talked to the mayor and he agrees that this would be a great thing, and who knows, maybe even attract the Olympics if you do something like that.
Scott?
I think the Wranglers may have shown up before you got there, but can you kind of give perspective as someone who cheers for a team that has a team in Bakersfield, having a team in your own backyard and the logistics of that, what are some of the learnings and pros and cons of not having your AJHL team kind of down in the States somewhere?
So I grew up in Halifax, as per the nice introduction, and they had an AHL team there for a lot of years, and it was a lot of fun because the team really rallied around it. And so that's the, I guess, the toing and froing, if you will. You get a local identity for, you know, that Bakersfield team down there that the city of the town rallies around for sure. But it's awful difficult when you're pulling players up on a moment's notice coming back and forth. Whereas if they're in Calgary, we get the benefit of easily call-ups and calls down. But our player development personnel are all with the big teams, so we can take them on the ice and we can help the players develop. So we think it's a better model in the long run. There's no financial, you know, pros or cons. I mean, one, you know, kind of this much. There's not much at the end of the day from that perspective. If you can find a good city like, you know, Hershey, where I was growing up, the Hershey Bears and those sorts of things, it's a staple in that town. But I think the Calgary team never had a real good home base, so they decided to bring it here, and it's worked well so far.
Okay, one more question. Any questions? Go ahead, Bill.
So, one of the dangers for hockey as a sport generally is it's pricing itself, and I'm not talking about the pro level here at first, but it's pricing itself out beyond the means of a normal family. God forbid you have a goalie, because the cost of goalie equipment and registration and all that, right? So I'm just thinking sort of long term here. The costs involved with participating in hockey are growing beyond a regular family's means. It used to be at a pro level that you could get a really reasonable ticket. I think it was Safeway had these special tickets, and you could go and without a lot of money take your family and go to a Flames game. That's, I think, gone away, and I don't know how, in an age where families are really struggling financially, how does the average family have a chance to go and see a Flames game? Even my wife and I, we go to one Flames game a year when the Montreal Canadiens come to town, because that's where she's from.
That's only the fifth time he's talked about the Montreal Canadiens.
But how, I mean, I know your job is to help the ownership group make as much money as it can. They're a business. But how do you fit in regular folks to be a part of this really exciting entertainment experience?
I'd rather take the first part of your question. I think about kids and youth trying to get involved in it, if I may, Bill. We had a Calgary Flames Foundation, Calgary Stampeders Foundation meeting this morning, and one of the things we are very, very proud of is what we're able to do to give back to the community, whether it's players going out and running junior Colts football programs for the football side, or players and alumni going out to do it for the hockey side. We have donations that we do every year from an equipment perspective, and we look for those needy, underprivileged families that otherwise couldn't afford to play football, hockey at any given time. So I think we punch above our weight when it comes to the community aspect, and I know that because I know what other teams do, and it's not a criticism of them, it's something that's very important to our ownership group, that we want to have a good community profile as well and give back from that perspective. With respect to affordability, you're right, it is an expensive product at the end of the day, there's no question about it. One of the things at CSEC that we've tried to do is to have the multiple teams so that people who are true hockey fans can say, okay, maybe it's one Flames game a year, that's what I'm going to do from the family. but I can get that $22 ticket to go see the Hitmen or the Wranglers if I want to see the players that are coming up, or the young junior kids, or I want to go to something different like the Roughnecks. So I think we have done a decent job of pricing from a demographic perspective across the spectrum of the different franchises that we have. But you're correct, pro sports, I love to go to NFL games, but NFL games are pretty expensive to go to, so I share your pain in that regard.
Bob, can I invite you up, please, to thank our guest speaker?
Well, you can hang on here, but I wanted to, on behalf of the club, thank you for coming out. It's good to get a few attaboys, things we do better than the downtown club.
That's not to be shared, please.
And by the way, we offer better value for meals. So we appreciate your pitching on various teams that play there. All sound promising. Certainly, we are all disappointed in how the Calgary teams did this year, but 26-27 is different. That's good. The new building is exceptionally exciting. Very good. I think from a Saskatchewan perspective, the use of heaters will be appreciated. Anyway, you've also taught us that for those of us who are probably a little beyond this beginning of our careers, you realize that there's actually fun in finance.
None of my kids became CPAs because they got tired of me saying there's not enough CPAs in the world. So thank you, everybody.